In the year 2000, Kenya got two mobile phone networks. The first was Kencell, French-backed. It had better technology and better coverage. It also launched 6 months ahead of the competition. The second one was Safaricom, a broken government experiment with a rusty network and $20 million to spend. By December 2001, Safaricom had overtaken Kencell and never looked back. Today, Kencell, now called Airtel after 4 rebrands in 10 years, has 19% of the Kenyan market, while Safaricom has 65% of the Kenyan market. This is a story of how Kencell handed Kenya to Safaricom by making one bad decision at a time. Kencell entered Kenya with every possible advantage. 60% was owned by Vivendi of France, one of the world's largest telecoms groups. 40% was owned by Naushad Merali's Mia Group, one of Kenya's most powerful businesses. They launched with a superior network, crystal clear calls, data services, and they made sure everyone knew about it. Their billboards were split into two, green on the left labeled congested and pink on the right labeled connected. The green was Safaricom's color, and it was not an exaggeration. That was the truth. Between 2000 and 2001, Kencell was winning. Then Safaricom made the decision that changed everything. Decision number one was on billing. Kencell charged by minute. Speak for 5 seconds and pay for the full minute. Safaricom switched to per second billing. You paid for the exact seconds you used, not a second more. In Kenya, where the average call lasted only seconds and flashing was like a national sport, this was everything. Safaricom lost 20 to 40% revenue per call, but they gained the entire country. Kencell eventually copied them, but the damage was already done. Decision number two was the wrong market. Kencell went after the rich, the corporations, government officials, and the elite. Safaricom dropped SIM cards to 100 shillings and launched the 50 shillings scratch cards and went into every market stall and matatu stage in the country. Kencell chased the 10% of the Kenyans, while Safaricom chased the other 90%. Decision number three was agent commissions. Both networks sold through the same agents, shops, pharmacies, and other stores. Safaricom paid those agents a fatter commission for every line they sold. The agents recommended Safaricom every time, and because calls across networks were expensive, everyone joined the same network as their family. Once Safaricom had the mass market, the network effects made it impossible to compete. The fourth decision that destroyed Kencell was the rebrand disaster. In 2004, Vivendi sold and Kencell became Celtel. Customers up country thought Kencell had closed. Agents struggled to convince people that scratch cards still worked. In 2008, Celtel became Zain, another wavy confusion. In 2010, Zain became Airtel. 4 names in 10 years. Every rebrand meant rebuilding trust from zero. Every time Safaricom was waiting on the other side with one consistent name, one green logo, and a growing customer base that had nowhere else to go. Safaricom did not win because it was a better company in the beginning. It won because it made fewer mistakes and because in 2007 it launched something that made the game permanently unwinnable for every competitor, and that was launching M-Pesa. You could switch your SIM card, you could not switch your M-Pesa account. 50 million Kenyans logged into Safaricom's ecosystem. Merchants, landlords, employers, government, all paying and receiving through M-Pesa. Leaving Safaricom did not just mean changing your phone number, it meant cutting yourself off from the financial system. By the time Airtel and every other competitor understood what had happened, Safaricom was not just the biggest telecom company in Kenya, it was the infrastructure of the country. Kencell launched fast, had the better network and had the better backing, and it still lost because it chose the wrong customer, charged the wrong way, and changed its name 4 times and ignored the 90% of Kenyans that would eventually decide everything. Safaricom had a broken network and $20 million to spend, and it won because it chose the ordinary Kenyans when everyone else was chasing the rich. In business, who you choose to serve matters more than how much money you start with. Kencell chose the elite. Safaricom chose Kenya. Kenya chose Safaricom back. Subscribe because on this channel, we are just getting started.